Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. We've got a DraftKings Week 16 recap for you, just like we do every week. This is going to be the final recap of the year because we're kind of winding down. We do have a massive slate in Week 17. If you wanted to jump back over to the main channel and go look at the first look for this week, obviously I'm still going to come out with a Best Buys article. It's going to publish on Thursday morning. I appreciate you guys coming over to the second channel for this video all year long. I did have to move it because of all the content that I push out on the main channel. So I had to move the recap video, which was kind of clogging the channel on Mondays with so much content being out between Monday Night Football and First Look and everything else. So the diehards, those of you who are still here watching the recap video in Week 16, I definitely appreciate you guys. If you could do me a solid of liking this video, dropping a subscribe on the channel, ringing the notifications bell, leave a reply, do all the things to help the video out that don't cost you anything at all. I would definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys very much as I continue to push out this content all the way until the end of NFL season. We're going to do videos on pretty much the same cadence on the main channel that we've done for the whole season, but it's going to be a little bit less because obviously this is New Year's week. So I've got 2 days where I'm not going to be doing content on Thursday and Friday. And there's just one really big slate this weekend. So there's going to be a little bit less content. And then as the playoffs come, it's 4-game slates for the first 2 weeks. There'll still be an article. There'll still be videos, but it's going to be a little bit crafted a little bit differently. So thank you guys for another great season. And let's just get to the video. Let's go look at how things went with Best Buys this week. Here it is. Best Buys was like all right this week. Like there were some smashes, there were some misses. Jalen Hurts at 7K this week on DraftKings scored 24.58 DraftKings points in what looked like kind of just a meh week for him, right? It wasn't outstanding, but he did have 342 passing yards as they kind of got trounced by the Dallas Cowboys. So he was pushed into throw mode, and that floor that he brought on the ground, 9 carries for 69 yards, that comes in really nicely when you start out with 6.9 DraftKings points. 342 yards got you the bonus, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 24.58. He was fine. He didn't get you 30 points, but like 24 points to lock in 24 points from a quarterback, not easy. The other option that I was most interested in this week was Mitch Trubisky because of the matchup against Jacksonville, the same streaming option that we've gone to all season long. 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, did run one in himself from the 10-yard line, 24.6 DraftKings points for 5.7K. Basically did you the same thing that Jalen Hurts did for 1,300 less. Justin Herbert, 21 of 33 for 253 and 1 touchdown. Didn't have his top 2 targets to throw to, and the other people just couldn't really make it happen for him, even against Denver in their depleted secondary. Matt Ryan did hit the 300-yard bonus with 2 touchdowns, scored about 20-something DraftKings points, low 20, so he was fine as well for the 5,800, but obviously the preferred option was Trubisky, and he did pay off as result of that rushing touchdown. David Montgomery kept doing David Montgomery things. Touched the ball 25 times, 23 carries, 95 yards and a touchdown. Missed that bonus by just 5 yards. 2 catches on 2 targets for 26 yards, 20.1 DraftKings points. I'll take it even at the accelerated price of 7.7 because, and this was my thing throughout the week, I wanted to pay up for the premium running backs because the cheap running backs were just so damn scary, right? Like they could have had 20 points and they could have been terrible. And we didn't really, we talked about how ugly those cheap running backs were. Austin Eckler was another one that I wanted to pay up for. Only 10 carries for 45 yards, no touchdowns, only caught 3 balls. So this was like a flourish game from Austin Eckler, and he still got you 15.8 DraftKings points, which was way better than some of the cheaper options did for you. Obviously, a couple of them smashed, like David Johnson had another big day 2 weeks in a row. We'll have to monitor that going into week 17 to see who plays for Houston and whether or not we can go back to that, if his role is going to stay the same. But he looked on the eyeball test, looked explosive again, looked fast again, looked like he was engaged and interested. So it is what it is. Chat says 15 points for 7.6K. Yuck. Yeah, but it was a low scoring week in all the tournaments because a lot of things failed. So locking in those points in cash, where we're mostly concerned with floor, is something that you're in certain weeks like that one, looking back at it, it kind of works out. So there was a reason we paid for Austin Eckler's floor, and that's the answer of why you pay for his floor. Nick Chubb turned into a high floor running back because he got 5 targets and caught all 5 of them for 38 yards, as that team had no wide receivers to pass to, only ran it 11 times for 28, did sneak into the end zone, 17.6 points in a weird spot for him as he caught 5 balls. He never catches 5 balls. Le'Veon Bell, like one of those pukey sub 6K running backs I was talking about ended the day with 4.9 points, 7 carries, 30 yards, 1 catch on 1 target for 9 yards. They went to Williams way more than they went to Le'Veon Bell. Gross. Calvin Ridley did Calvin Ridley things. 5 catches only on 9 targets. Calvin Ridley minus Julio Jones, for fantasy purposes, is one of the most reliable wide receivers that you can have. 21 points is kind of a flourish spot for him in those scenarios. He averages like 5 or 6 more points, 6 more fantasy points per game, and on 11.3 targets when Julio Jones is out. Julio Jones was out, 21 points. Terry McLaurin, he was out, so he should have been out of this article because he was out for the weekend. CeeDee Lamb, smash on only 5 targets. 3 catches, 5 targets, 65 yards and a touchdown. Had 1 rush attempt late in the game, 19 yards, went for a touchdown, 23.4 DraftKings points for 5.3K, smash. Curtis Samuel, 4.9K. 7 rushes for 52 yards, 5 catches on 5 targets for 106, 18.8 DraftKings points, smash. Logan Thomas, 4.9K, 12 targets again. Logan Thomas finally cashing in on all of those snaps. Led the league in terms of snaps at tight end. Led the league in terms of routes run per quarterback dropback at tight end. He was a league leader in terms of the underlying metrics that really are more predictive of volume, and DraftKings being a more volume-centric site. Those are things that we are going to continue to lean on. And I know that at the beginning of the year, he became red redacted because he wasn't cashing in on all those underlyings, and people were getting tired of going back to Logan Thomas again and again and again because the targets weren't matching what the profile of the player was on the field. But those things, as long as that volume of underlying stats remains the same, the volume of targets and catches will always catch up. It's a good lesson in how things work, right? Like it's a great lesson in terms of how things regress to the mean, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. If you're scoring a lot of touchdowns that don't have inside the 5 carries for a running back, you're scoring from 20, 30 yards out. That is way less sustainable than somebody who has, averaging at least 1 inside the 5 touch per week at running back. Those touchdowns are going to be sustainable. End zone targets, something that is going to regress. If you are a wide receiver or a tight end who gets a lot of end zone targets, your touchdown production is going to regress. We saw that with Hunter Henry, and we saw it in terms of Logan Thomas in terms of his volume. 12 targets, 7 catches, 63 yards, 13.3 DraftKings points is more than fine for a tight end, especially this year. 4.9K, he kind of pays his salary off. I'm fine with it. Dallas Goedert got injured, which sucked because I had a pick'em on Underdog Fantasy this week, and he was the third one. The first 2 were guys that clearly got over very easily over their hurdle. I needed 43 pass or receiving yards from Dallas Goedert to win that 3-play pick'em. 3 catches, 3 targets, 38 yards, and then he got injured. Womp womp for me. So he misses based on injury. Austin Hooper, because of all the close contact COVID-ness, he backed his way into 15 targets this week, but only hauled in 7 of them as Baker Mayfield was off target a lot this weekend. For 3.5K, 71 yards, 14.1, that's a smash. Jordan Akins did not get there. 4 catches, 4 targets, 39 yards, 7.9 DraftKings points for 3.3K. And the defense were the Browns with 6. The Texans with -4. I need to never play the Texans defense ever. Like, never even recommend the Texans defense, never talk about the Texans defense. I tweeted out the meme with Bart Simpson, never play the Texans again, and I still did it because they're playing the Bengals and they suck. Denver Broncos, 6 DraftKings points. So let's look over at my Millionaire Maker teams because there wasn't really much to report this week. The highest scoring team that I had this week, Jalen Hurts, Chubb, Montgomery, Gallup, Higgins, Crowder, Goddard, who got hurt, Eckler. Football team with 9. You're going to see a lot of the same type of stuff. The Watson stacks really worked out this week. Henderson Jr. was a big miss in terms of somebody who had a lot of volume and just did not pan out this week. The Rams are just, I'm so over the Rams, and we're probably going to have to go back to a Rams running back in week 17. Hopefully other volume value opens up for us because right now it looks like there's only 1 running back left in town for Los Angeles. Same thing. The Watson stacks kind of ruled the day in terms of my lineups, but didn't have enough of the other stuff, like a big tight end. And obviously I had a lot of Henderson and overweighted the field on him, so that didn't work out. Same sort of thing over on FanDuel. The Watson lineups, who I had about 20% of Deshaun Watson stacks in my allocations this week. Noah Fant was a big bring back player for me, with a lot of the Chargers players being in play, as well as Melvin Gordon. So we'll see how it worked out, but it didn't this week. That's just the way that tournaments go, and it's something that you have to be mindful of when you're playing tournaments, is that if you're shooting for the top of the list, you have to take overweight positions on the field. And it looks like a lot of the guys in our community had a really good day. So if you aren't already, jump over in the Discord. There's a link down below, and I'll get a whole bunch of off-season content out for you guys here on the second channel, as well as basketball every single day on the main channel, and some off-season NFL stuff as well that will ramp up throughout the summer. So thank you guys for a great season of the recap videos. Look out for another video right here.
He's a legend.